Let's do the Monster Mash. So what I'm going with here is, what monster stat line impressed you the most this season?
I'm going to jump in first because I think this last week gave us some obvious answers. So I'm going to be the one to give the obvious answer, right?
Okay.
But you got Kyle Barton with 200 plus rushing yards and 5 touchdowns for China Spring. And, you got dueling running backs, because then you got in a different game, in a different classification, Braylon Henry rushing for 200 plus yards and 5 touchdowns. And, I know in the recent past, we've seen guys go for 400 and do things like that. But, this deep into district play, that 205 touchdowns, that's a monster night.
Absolutely. DJ?
Looking at this kid that has 12 interceptions.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Fairfield, the quarterback for Fairfield. And then Joseph McCurdy.
Wait, is that a monster line in the wrong direction?
I'm looking at these two kids, right? Cameron Cockrell Fairfield and Joseph McCurdy at Troy, who have thrown 12 and 11 interceptions, but have some pretty good yardage other than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And McMurdy specifically still has 21 touchdown passes, 2,079 yards on 152 completions. And that's just, I don't know what to make of that other than, you've got some good kids who have just made bad decisions.
Gotcha. Yeah, DJ Wednesday Adams took it in a dark direction there.
I feel like
on a positive note, Cash McCollum has 41 touchdowns.
So. There you go.
41 touchdowns. Yeah.
There she is. There's sweet Wednesday.
So Wednesday went like the season stat line. I went the single game stat line.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Brice, what direction are you going to take?
Whatever. Take it any way you want. That's kind of what I was thinking was single game. Certainly you could pick one of about 5 or 6 different Braylon Henry performances. I think I want to say had multiple 5 touchdown games. But another
Frost, Cooper Curl, Friday had like 19 tackles and then however many rushing yards. And hold on, let me pull up on roll because otherwise I'm not gonna.
All right, you look that up, but I will mention Kiefer Sibley early in the season when he played Cameron. Remember, he went for 391 rushing and 5 touchdowns. I mean, sometimes those numbers, it becomes like a video game and you're like, it doesn't even like, I think we almost sometimes become desensitized to it, but think about 391. That's basically 200 yards twice, 200 yards is a pretty good night. And he went for 391. That's a lot of long runs in that game.
Well, and if you're playing high school football, fantasy football in the area, Kiefer Sibley, like Caden Roberts, is one that has a QUES by his name this week, and you're watching that to see if they're going to be good, because Kiefer Sibley left that game on Saturday against Madisonville with what I believe was a shoulder injury in the first quarter. So they need him back. They need him back this week, and Lorena eventually needs Caden Roberts back, although I believe they're off this week. So
Lorena is off this week.
Yeah.
Conley plays Robinson. And yeah, I mean, they would obviously like to finish off a perfect district run, win that outright district championship with a win over the Rockets. So yeah, we were talking about Kiefer Sibley yesterday at lunchtime, and it sounds like I need to check with Terry Garrick, or one of us does, but didn't sound good. That shoulder injury didn't sound good.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, Cooper Curl, 4 receptions for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns, a 13-yard touchdown pass, 4 2-point conversion runs, and 19 tackles.
There you go. That's a busy night at the office right there. Way to go, Cooper Curl. And yeah, I mean, those 2A kids, some of them just don't come off the field.
We got an email obviously complaining about how we don't cover 2A enough. And they were naming schools like Riesel, Marlin, Crawford. And I was
that
like,
we cover all the time.
no, we cover all the time. Like, I know I've been to Marlin. I know I call at least one of those coaches once a week.
We
we've had
called
them on this podcast.
We've called, we had an entire 2A podcast. We call Levi Mr. 2A because he covers
hey,
a 2A
and Marlin
game.
fits nicely into that trick category.
Oh, for sure.
And we're covering a couple of 2A games this week, by the way, fan out there, who normally would not be covered. And that is, we are covering the Riesel Bosqueville game. And we are covering the Crawford Bruceville Eddy game. That says a little bit something about the schedule this week. It's not that great. There's a lot of teams or several teams that are off. But yeah, we're still out there covering those games.
And you know what, these complaining fans, they don't, maybe they understand, they probably don't understand this, but like their negative emails, we're like vampires and feeding off that, you know.
Like I said, Darth Vader, baby.
I
I feed on your hate. All right, so